Chilta says that the Torah was only given to Oiklei Haman. The Torah was given to those that ate the man. So people come along and say, but what was everybody else, all the generations after? So you'd be very interested to know that the great Meforshim say that there's man nowadays also. Yeah. And that's based on a famous remark from the Rebbe Marash. And it's brought down in the Sikhs of the Rebbe, and it's also mentioned in a manner from his son, from the Rebbe Rashab. And the Rebbe Marash said that when the Yidden went out into the Midbar, Hashem looked after them, and he fed them lechem min hashamayim. Yeah? He looked after them, and he gave them man. When the Eibusher allowed the Beis Hamikdash to be destroyed, and Yidden went out into the Midbar. The Golas is a huge Midbar. So just like the Eibusher fed the Jewish people man in the Midbar, that's what happened. And the Reb Marash said that, the whole Indian of the Jewish Parnasa, from the time of the Chum by Sheni, at Bias HaMoshiach, take of Miyad Mamish, is also even from man. It's all just like the man. It was L'mayla Mea Oilam, L'mayla Mea Teva, L'gami was a Nes. So it is. Yiddish Parnasa is man. Yeah, and if you examine it carefully, it's a mamish sasai, because everywhere where Yidden have been, the Goyim didn't want to let them learn Parnasa in a normal way. Yeah. And everywhere where Yidden have been, there have been Manias and Soras and Bayot, Be'ikav, when they get to the Etzim Kiyum, the Kiyum Yom Yomi of the Jewish people, you follow? No matter, take it wherever, in the best of the Golison, yeah, you'll find that there was always sorry. So Yidden eat Parnasa nowadays even, yeah. That what you have, Baruch Hashem, a bit of money to put bread on your table, das is man, das is in Emerson, L'mayla Mea Teva. It's a nes, como from the Eibustar. And so you say, well, we've got a Medina, and nowadays we get around it. That's a lot of baloney. The whole Medina, anyway, is just one big nest, the whole thing. Yeah, the fact that it keeps going. And halavai, that those who are running it would wake up to that effect. That it's all just one tremendous nest. When you eat your little bit of, you make your little bit of breakfast in the morning with your cup of coffee or whatever, you have to realize this is man. This is Emerson man. And then, hey, what's going to be tomorrow? Baruch Hashem, Dave puts it back on the table for you. It's all him. It's all the man. Das ist gesagt, Rebbe Mara. Aber I found the Baal Shem Tov had a very leading Talmud. He was called Reb Nochem Chernobyla. And he was actually, if I'm not mistaken, he was actually older than the Baal Shem Tov, actually in years. But he became a tremendous Talmud of the Baal Shem. He became tremendously devoted to him. And he wrote a sefer called Me'er Einayim. You probably heard about it. It's a famous sefer. And he brings down the Baal Shem Tov. And that's like the Tanya of the Chernobyl Chassidim. Their Tanya is the Me'er Einayim from the Reb Nochem Chernobyl. Yeah. And so it's very interesting, just since we're Mishchistim, all of us, I hope, it's very interesting that there was a Kabbalah, B'yedei Talmudi Baal Shem Tov, the Talmudi Talmidei, that Moshiach would come from the family of the Chernobyl dynasty, that Moshiach would be one, yeah. So, the middle Rebbe had a daughter, and she married a son of Reb Motler Chernobyl. Yeah. But how did that happen? He was called Rabbi Yisrael, Yaakov Yisrael Cherkas. He was called the Cherkasa, as it means. He was a Adam Godel. Right. So how did that happen? The Alter Rebbe heard this shmua that Mashiach would come from the family of the Chernobyl dynasty. So the Alter Rebbe personally went over to the house of, it was quite a journey. He went over to the house of the Motel of Chernobyl. And he was already the successor of Reb Nachum Chernobyl. He was already the successor. And he walked into the house and he said, Shalom Aleichem and everything. He said, show me the bedroom of your children. You follow? So, yeah, he said, that was it was, but anyway. So he ushered the Alter Rebbe into the bedroom of his children. You follow? So the Alter Rebbe walks around from one bed to the other, looking at them, and then all of a sudden he points to this bed of the Cherkas. He's a little boy. He points to the bed. He said, "Oh, I'm taking him." So he walks out to this Motler Chernobyl, and he said, just by the way, he said, that boy that I'm pointing to, he's going to marry my Enkel, my granddaughter. He will be the chassan of my granddaughter. And he said, I hope you like it because you're going to have to put up with it. As a matter of what happened was that the Chernobyl dynasty intermarried with Lubavitch, and the Cherkas, he became the Aidim, the son-in-law of the Middle Rebbe. And the Middle Rebbe's daughter, she married him. Yeah. We see from that there was an awareness on the part of the Alter Rebbe what's going on, and he wanted to be in on the game, in on the deal, that he should be married at least to the family where Mashiach is going to be born. Yeah. We see from that there's no, how do you call it, no messing around, no holds barred. I don't know how I got into that, but anyway, I did. So I'm going back. Oh, that's right. So the Reb Nachum Chernobyl, the father-in-law of Reb Motler Chernobyl, he and the Alter Rebbe did the deal. But the Reb Nachum Chernobyl, he's got this Sefer Me'er Einai. So I looked up in the Sefer Me'er Einai. I have it, the Sefer. I took a look over there. And he says a very amazing thing, the Reb Nachum Chernobyl, but he spends quite a bit of time. The Rebbe Marash said it very intensely, but he says it, and he says like this. And he says that everything that happened by Yetzias Mitzrayim, since that's the beginning of all the Geulas, and Mitzrayim was the first of all the Goddess, and this is the beginning of all the Geulas, and it's like a Inyan Kloli. You have the Klolis, Kol HaYadus, as you came, everything that happened by Yetzias Mitzrayim, all the Pratim, they go on the whole time. They're happening the whole time. It's just that they are melubesh in a labush. And it looks to the mensch as if it's happening, in inverted commas, that the world is allowing that to happen, In other words, that it's kidul teva in a certain way. But really, it's not. And therefore he says, the man is going the whole time. And he said, what you're really eating in the goddess is man. He said, you're eating man, yeah. And when Mashiach will come, you got to go back. there's a difference of opinion. Some people say that Mashiach is going to feed us all matzahs. Others say he's going to feed us man. So they all say that they're sort of got a close link in that matzah is like a type of man. It's only kind of ruchnistic thing. If you're looking for tanugim gashmim, then you don't go eating matzahs. You follow? Oh, mate, no. If he's there, everything is very correct. So he says, Kriyas Yam Suf is happening the whole time. Everything is the day-to-day life during the week. If you were to look carefully, you could see that you're having a Kriyat Yam Suf the whole time. It's just that it's all, how do you call it, enclosed in all sorts of levushim, and it doesn't look like that. But really, what is the whole Kriyas Yam Suf? That the Eibishter took away the parsa, the curtain between Atzilus and all the worlds, or between Etzem Melikus and all, and he let it all come down, and the world rose up, and they made this amazing joining together, Like we said, everything's got to join up with the world. So really, if you study it carefully, you can see that so many things happen to you, where you see clearly there's some sort of guiding hand that took away a certain blockage. It may not appear to be a massive thing at the moment that happens, but a certain, as it were, blockage has been removed, and there's like, a higher level in your life and in your way of functioning comes down and joins in with your normal, vertical life, and that's the way you live now. And you live differently than what you were before. And if you study Torah and you really break your head to try and get into things, you can notice it. You become a bit more aware of how that's really the case. So he says, the same with Amalek, Rahman. Why do we make such a fuss about Amalek? I mean, that's what we're learning right now in the Wednesday night shiur that we have. We're learning about Amalek. And why does Chassidus make such a huge, issue about Amalek? Because he's going on the whole time. Just like there was a war with Amalek when you were going out of it, he's there the whole time. And you've got to be tremendously careful of him, because he works in a very tricky way. He doesn't just do it like the other battle on him, the clippers. He works very skillfully, Amalek, Rahmanim, skillfully. And his main thing is, take it easy, krill, oh no. Yeah, so what, take it easy, don't get excited. But that's, you've got to fight that the whole time, day after day. And then you come back and turn it the whole time. And it's written before this that why every day in the morning we make a new Birchas HaTorah, and we say, Baruch Atah Hashem, Noisein HaTorah. Noisein HaTorah is present tense. Yeah? You're giving us now the Torah. Because every day there's a Matan Torah. Every day it's a Torah, a Matan Torah. If you really try hard and you really work at it, what you're learning today is much different than what you learned yesterday. It's a new phase. It's a whole new thing than what you learned yesterday. Because there's been a Matan Torah many times. It's happening now. That's what he writes, this Reb Noam Chernobyl, the first Talmud of the Baal Center. And it's mamish very moving when you read it, your mamish feeling, you're getting out of your chair. I don't know if you're falling off your chair, but you sort of, you can't just read it and remain, very good, like you were before. It's very powerful. And he says every day and every week, all these things are happening to you. You're getting man, and you're going through the Yam Suf, and you're having Matan Torah, and you've got to watch Amalek. He's waiting around the whole time to try and chop you. That's why it's an ongoing thing, this business with Amalek. Therefore, Chassidus writes a lot about it, because it's an ongoing problem. Aber Mele nimmt zu that Moshiach is also an ongoing thing. And that's what the Rebbe said. If you really want it and do it, it could happen right now, and it's supposed to happen right now. If you really live with it, you've got to just take it with the shitas. And that's what I heard in the name of one of the Admorim in Bnei Brak. But I happen to know him. It was a whole story how I got to know him. But I knew him. I knew him personally. Just I won't go into all the details. But he was a very very amazing person. He went to America, and he made sure that he had the yechidus with the Rebbe. He so held from the Rebbe, and he personally made sure that, of course, when the Maskiras, when they heard that he wanted to come, they made a special yechidus between him and the Rebbe. So anyway, with a whole series of Hashgacha Pratias, I had to talk with him about a certain Indian a couple of weeks after he came back, and I didn't necessarily know that. I didn't know the whole story. When I got there on this evening, when I had the appointment to speak with him, one of his guys that was, like he's Shomrim and he's Meshamshim and that, he told me the whole thing. He said the Rebbe was by the Rebbe just a couple of weeks ago, So I said, wow, that's really amazing. So when I got in to speak with him, we spoke about what I had to speak. You know what he said to me? He said to me, I didn't bring up the subject. He said to me, he said like this. He said, when I spoke with your Rebbe, he said, I realized that I'm talking to a koyach in Torah, and I'm talking to a moyach that doesn't belong to Klal in our generation. It's something absolutely out of this whole geda that we understand or we're aware of. And it's just unbelievable, the Rebbe's control and his grasp on everything in Torah. He said, that's for sure. And he said, B'mela, he's the most amazingly, how do you call it, mature person. He said, however, when he talks about Moshiach, he said he talks about Moshiach with the peshitas of a young boy. We're talking about something that there's absolutely no doubt about it, that's for sure. And it's just, it's right there, and we just got to, live it and make it real. And he said he talks about it with the peshitas of a yeled katan. That's what he said. That's the words that he used. And he said, just imagine, you have a yechidus with the Rebbe, and he said, all of a sudden you start talking about a certain Indian in Torah, and he's got you way up here, and he's sort of, he's dragging you around like a chicken in some very high Indian in Kabbalah or something like that, And you're looking there. Then all of a sudden he says Moshiach, and he brings you all the way down with the pashtas, absolute simplicity. Moshiach, what's happening? Pshitas, tachlis ha-pshitas, we're moving right into Moshiach now. Shalom Aleichem. Yeah, I'll see you in Eretz shortly. We're all coming over. And he said, it's just the amazing dichotomy, between these two koichas. He said it to me. I didn't bring up the subject. He said it to me. And here I am, I'm sitting there. And it's just so evident what he said, it's so beautifully summed up. Oh, remember, that's the Indian guys. We got to fly around in Torah. We got to follow. Chasing after the Rebbe is like chasing, how do you call it, the biggest giant that's ever been in history. So I don't know, how much you're going to catch up with him. But we got to move in the Yom Torah, and we've got to go out and chase after the higher things. But when it comes to Moshiach, the Avisha said to Moshe Rabbeinu, nothing what to be done, just tell him to go ahead and be Anshe Ma'aser, Shutim, just walk ahead into the sea. And it'll be the sea's problem. If the sea will have to worry, not you. We don't have what's going on. That's the way the Rebbe sees it. Because the Rebbe learns that the whole Bria and the whole Indian of created entities is enslaved to the Torah, not that you're enslaved to them. And if so, if you come with the Koch of the Torah, they have to give way, not you. Yes? And it's an amazing thing, absolutely unbelievable. And he told me this and more. He said to me, I didn't bring it up. He said, that's what he got out of his visit to the Rebbe. So I sort of took a bit of courage. I said, the Rav, I called him the Rav. I didn't like using the word Rebbe because I used the word Rebbe only for the Rebbe. So I called him the Rav. And I said, the Rav got good verstanden. I said to him in Yiddish that you understood very well. Let's wish ourselves from this whole little get-together that we also understand very well. Appreciate where we're holding. You say, what's going to be with me? Don't worry, he's looking after you. He'll send you a bit more man, and he's looking after you. And if there's a bit of a yam suf in the way, he will help you to split it, And tomorrow morning, he'll teach you a new piece of mutton. And the truth is that I read that in the Sefer from Rabbi Nachman Chernobyl. And so you might say, well, what are you doing, quoting the Paradishes? We see that the Alter Rebbe linked up with him. And the Alter Rebbe wanted very much to be a Mechutin in that whole it's not that far. Very good. The apple doesn't fall that far in the tree. The guys, L'chaim, everybody. And so listen, it should be a Emerson, Freilich, Hemsher, to this little get-together, this little farbrengen. And we have to be thankful that we're able to sit together and we're able to talk about the Rebbe and we're able to live with the Rebbe's inyonim. But that's only a harikot, a hakdama. The emes maskona, the emes harikot, oiskiyah, is we've got to be with the Rebbe in the Zohar, the place of meet the Shashlishi, then we'll know that we've turned over the right page. Everybody, and everybody have a good and afraid of him. Hemshech to Yud Aleph.
Thank you so much, Chaim. We're making l'chaim and a special bracha for the smallest of the triplets going into surgery. He's in surgery now.
And you tell he's there, Yud Shvat. He doesn't talk English like we talk. He understands a few words.
Say again. Rabbi Gafne, special bracha for my son's wife just had a few weeks ago had triplets. My son's wife a few weeks ago had triplets. The smallest of the babies is in surgery now.
Daughter had a triplets, but one is in, the smallest baby is in surgery.
Yok.
Surgery? The smallest baby is in surgery?
The smallest of the three babies
He's
Going through surgery now.
is in surgery.
your
I
daughter.
have
Your daughter, right?
My son's.
Your son's wife. She had a son.
Triplets?
Yeah, yeah.
And one of them is
He's in
Surgery right now.
operation?
Yes,
Right now.
Oh, wow. What's its name?
not yet. Tinuk ben
It doesn't have a
Tinuk
name.
ben Chayamushka.
Right, I understand. So, the daughter of yours,
The Zut Geula.
it's a she, is it?
He.
A he.
Yeah.
So the son of your son,
Yes.
he should have a refuah shlema ugamura.
Amen.
We're talking now about L'mayla Me'ateva.
Amen.
We're talking about the Kriyas Yamsuf is going on the whole time. So in Cain, we are all geyser that there'll be mamish Kriyas Yamsuf.
Amen.
Be'ez Hashem, be a refuah gemura, it takes simcha v'tuv.
Amen.
Amen.
Top. Okay, so everybody needs to make a bracha achrona, right? And I must say it was very it was very naive, as they say, to have you with this.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay, no.
This is, you have to ask them where it goes. It's only depending on the actual whole crowd.
So a few guys came in.
Yeah, they're watching. Svi, maybe you can show up the video so Rabbi Gafne can see you there in Kfar Chabad. What do you say? And also other guys, so Rabbi Gafne could see you. So show up, put the video on, everybody who is watching online. Shai Ali is there.
Shai Ali was coming in.
Yeah, Shai Ali.
Oh, wow, Shai Ali was
This
there.
is
Yeah.
from New York. New York.
That's Feivel.
Yes, that's right.
That's Feivel Kaplan. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. You know him? No problem.
And there was a guy, and there was Kfar Chabad. Now they got disconnected, but Kfar Chabad also. And Yehuda Poznik also here.
Oh, yeah?
With Simcha Weberman.
Oh, you should realize that I spoke with you the day before yesterday.
Ah.
And I told him all about it, and he said he's going to make an
Yud Shvat.
Well, that's fine. Beautiful. What can be achieved nowadays? I feel like problem.
Very good wine.
You see Yaakov?
Move some garbage and then we come.
Yaakov. You didn't have to go to about that came here.
Yeah, you see, you didn't have to make the long journey.
That's fine. You see, fine.
Amazing times we're in. Amazing.
There was a bunch of people that left.
Good.
Thank you, Aaron.
I told you, you have transport back.
Yeah, with
Mordechai Brown.
Israel Bear. With Israel Bear Captain.
Oh, man.
He took me. Thank you for asking. You see, there's no cork here. It fell down somewhere here. Later on, they can look at it. It fell, the cork fell, and it fell over here.
We'll take a break. Mordechai Bracha.